What's happening, good people? Welcome to the channel. I'm Wes, aka Mr. Budget Watch, and today we are going to be doing another episode of Watch Wars. So we're going to be comparing two different Paganis. So we have on the left the BB58 homage, and then we have the BB58 GMT homage on the right. So if you've never seen Watch Wars before, we basically have 10 categories, 10 points per category. The winner is the one with the most points at the end. So let's dive in and take a look at that first category. And by the way, individual videos for these will be linked in the description. So first up is design. And both of these score 6 points. And the reason why both of them score 6 is, well, because, you know, they're homages, so they don't get a point for originality. But what I do base design points on is how well they've sort of executed the look they are homaging. So this one is not actually that similar to the BB58. This one actually looks more like the BB58 than that one does. But anyway, so this one is kind of like a mix of the Pelagos and the 58, because it's got the you know, square indices, which, you know, the 58 does not have. It has circular indices like the GMT. So yeah, and I also like that, you know, Pagani have done something a little bit different and give it a sort of like stippled diamond patterned dial instead of like the flat one that the regular Tudor has. So yeah, a little bit different. And this one, you know, again is really close to the BB58 GMT. Circular indices, you know, all the same snowflake hands, everything. The bezel does line up reasonably, but I've just knocked it out of line before filming. So yeah, 6 points apiece. I think that's reasonably fair. Let's move on to the next category, build and finish. And you can see this one takes the win, the BB58. That is because it's just better made and there is less QC issues. If you've seen my review for this one, you know that there's quite a few things wrong with it. It's got a wobbly bezel, it doesn't line up properly, and we also had issues elsewhere as well. So that's why this one scores 8 to that one's thing. It's just because it's got a few QC issues. This one is a lot better. But actually the build and finishing is really good on both. You can see, you know, we've got really nice brushing on the sides with that chamfered polished edge, and then the same again here. Same really nice brushing, polishing, brushed thingy. Really good build quality all the way around. Like I said, this one just scores a little bit less just because of those QC issues that it has and it not being, you know, perfect. Moving on to the bracelet, and you can see it's the same story. Both bracelets are actually very, very similar. You can just see right there, they're both like very similar in style. This one actually I've noticed is a little bit flatter. If you can see, the links on this one are actually a little bit more rounded. If I can just show you there. Can you see that? And then these ones are a little bit flatter. But the styling is pretty much the same. You know, we've got high polished sides with those faux rivets. This one actually feels a little bit smoother, bit nicer finishing on this one. This one is still smooth, but not as smooth. And also the reason why this one's got 6.5 is if you've seen my review, you know, one of the links, the screw links are actually stuck. So I couldn't size it up properly. This one adjusted absolutely fine, no issues whatsoever. So again, that's why this scores 6.5. It would be identical scores, but like I said, this one's got QC issues. Both have got milled clasps. So you can just see there, that one's got milled and that one's got milled. Both have got pretty much the same micro adjusts. So yeah, not really too much to differentiate between the bracelets, apart from this one has QC issues, this one does not. So moving on to comfort, and both score exactly the same, 8 points apiece. And both of them are really comfortable watches, can't deny it. You know, this one wears really nice. Touch too big for me though, this one, 42mm diameter to 40. So this one would be better for, you know, you guys with slimmer wrists. This one is definitely better for guys with slightly thicker wrists. Both will wear on, you know, thicker wrists too, but this one is definitely, you know, better suited for smaller wrists as well, whereas this one slightly larger. But both are really comfortable. You know, you've got nice articulation in both bracelets. Both bracelets are really comfortable. You've got that little bit of micro adjust as well to get that nice snug fit, so it's not too tight, not too loose. So yeah, no complaints really in the comfort department. This one just wears a little bit better for me, but I just sort of based it as a rough rule. Just because it's more comfortable for me doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable, you know, more comfortable than this one for someone else, which is why I scored them both the same. So now we get onto the Lume, and you can see the GMT wins its first category. This one gets 6 points, which I think is very, very generous. This one gets 7.5, and the reason why this one scores better is because, well, it's just got better lume. It's got a lumed bezel, which this one just has the pip at the 12 o'clock. We've also got lumed hand indices, but this lume is just better quality. It's brighter, it lasts longer, and I prefer the hue. This one, you know, the application's a little bit iffy. It's not that great, so that's why I said 6 is really generous. It probably could even be pushed down to like 5.5, maybe even 5. But this one is, you know, it's really good compared to this one. Yes, it's not incredible lume. It's not going to, you know, amaze you. But for the price point, you know, it's pretty good. Can't really complain about it too much. So yeah. And then we got on to movement, and the BBA 58 takes its win. This homage. This one has the Seiko NH35. This has a Pearl GMT movement. Couldn't really find much information about it, but I do know for a fact that this is not going to be as reliable as this one. This will outlast that one, you know, time and time and time again. You know, the Seiko NH35 is just like a bulletproof movement. Really robust, really reliable. This one, yeah, it's a bit of an unknown quantity, so I'm actually going to be holding on to this one for a while, and I'm going to revisit it in around 6 months or so, just to see if that movement is, you know, holding up all right. Because that was requested by one of you guys to hold on to this and revisit it in, you know, a few months, and that's what I'm going to do. This one, we obviously know Seiko NH35, you know, they're really good movements. Now we get on to water resistance, and actually the GMT takes the win. This one has 100 meters, this has 200 meters. Would I trust both of them at that? Probably not. I'd say both are fine for swimming. Snorkeling, I'd say probably not. I'd avoid with both of them, to be quite fair. I wouldn't trust them in the sea. Swimming, I think you'd be fine with both. Now we get on to availability, and well, both are exactly the same because, well, they're both from exactly the same place, AliExpress. So you can pick both of these up really easily. Quite a few stores have them in stock. So yeah, finding either one of these is easy enough. So yeah, both score 7. Now we get on to brand, and again, both score 7. Yeah, I think, you know, 7 might be a bit generous here actually, so I might adjust that, or you can adjust that. 7, you know, I think Pagani have started like getting a decent reputation for themselves. I mean, yeah, some of the watches aren't perfect, you know, prime example, but you know, they are getting a good reputation for making quality watches at a good price. So yeah, I can't really, you know, say much about them. Yes, the name isn't my favourite name that comes out of, you know, AliExpress in China, but they are getting a good reputation, and I think their watches are getting better and better. I mean, this is just a prime example. Yeah, I've just got really unlucky with this one, but if, you know, you get one that doesn't have any QC issues, then it is a better watch than this one. My example, I was just unfortunate. I got unlucky, and you know, it does have a few QC issues, but other people have got perfect examples, and I would say that it is probably a better watch. So Pagani are definitely going in the right direction. They're making better and better watches. So yeah, that's good to see. So I think the brand probably could be knocked down to a, you know, 6 a piece. So you can adjust that if you want. Now we get on to price, and you can see the GMT just smidges a win with 6.5 to 6, and the reason why is, well, because this is just slightly cheaper. So this one is just under 100, this one is around 75 to 80, and the reason why this one doesn't score better is just simply the QC issues, and of course that movement being an unknown quantity. If it was a, you know, more reliable movement from a bigger, well-known, well-established watch, a movement maker, then I'd probably score it a little bit better, but because it's an unknown quantity. Right guys, so now we've done all the rounds, let's see which has won. And you can see it is a narrow victory for the 58. And the only reason, like I said, this one won is because this one has QC issues. In reality, if this one was a perfect condition watch with no issues, it would have won. It is a better watch, and I'm going to say that, and I'm going to stand to that. It is a better watch. I've just got really unlucky with mine. and got QC issues, but you know, doing research and looking at other people's examples, like I said, I've just got really unlucky with mine. Mine has QC issues, a lot of other people's don't, but yeah, so this is definitely the better watch, but just my example only scored that because it's just what I've got to work with. If I got another one, you know, it might have got no QC issues at all, so the story would be different. But for now, you know, this one is the better watch just because it's, you know, QC free. This one is the better watch, but it's got QC issues, so it scores less. I hope that makes sense and doesn't confuse you guys at all. I know it probably sounds a little bit confusing. Anyways, you know, thank you guys for watching. Let me know down in the comments which would you pick if you had to. So of course, you know, if you had the choice, which would you take? Would you take the GMT or would you take the standard one? Let me know. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any uploads. And of course, follow me on social media at Mr. Budget Watch. Thanks again. I'll see you soon.